Hey guys, welcome to the first of my weekly chatty videos for the month of February. I've got my awesome Sherlock mug here today. I thought we would just have a nice cozy little chat about books. So if you saw my incredibly long January wrap up, I tried something different for the month of January. It got so long. I tried popping in every time I finished a book or two, sharing my thoughts. And I didn't realize until I sat down to edit the video that it was going to be like, I think it ended up being 53 minutes long. I had no idea going into it. And then when I was editing, I just kept adding the clips and it just kept getting longer and longer. So I tried that for January. For February, I thought I would try doing weekly check-ins, sharing what I finished, what I'm currently reading, and then try doing a full-on wrap-up at the beginning of March for February. Maybe it'll help me remember more from what I read. Maybe if I don't remember, you can refer back to my other videos through the month. We're gonna give this a try, we're gonna see. I didn't mind filming my January wrap-up like that, but I don't like to watch those kind of wrap-ups. And it seems like people don't mind watching them, even if they end up being 53 minutes long, but I hesitate to put videos out that I don't like to watch. So we're just welcome to experiment month 2. We'll figure out what works best here. So this is gonna have bookish updates, but we're gonna get there. I have some other updates first. First of all, I got in some new book tabs, which I'm super excited about because these are just my colors. If you've been following my channel for a while, you'll notice I wear a lot of green and burgundy, and like this brownish color is usually what my thumbnail picture is, but I'm pushing myself this year and I'm trying to do a different color every month, and we'll see how long I last before I go back to what I like. And I really like dark blue too. This is the palette of my closet. So I'm very excited about these. It does mean that I might have to change the meaning of my tabs once I use them. I got quite a few packs, I think 5 of them, and there are 200 in here, 10 different colors, 20 tabs per color. These are from AliExpress. If I remember, I'll try to link them below. I think you can probably buy them on Amazon though too. But I wanted to share about these. I have a whole video sharing how I annotate, and I don't really annotate much. Pretty much just like how I tab books and do some highlighting and stuff. But these make me like probably far too happy for how cheap they were. I'm a cheap person. It makes me excited when it doesn't take much to make me excited is what I'm trying to say. Okay, so there was the tab update, which I felt like I needed to tell you guys. Another update is I have been going through, I think it's been over a week now, and getting all the books on my TBR shelf, scanning them into Goodreads and trying to have a whole shelf on Goodreads of the books I own, starting with these ones. This doesn't even count my upstairs bookshelves. And it's taking me a long time. I'm sorry if you follow me on Goodreads and you're seeing like massive lists of books I want to read. It's my TBR books. But it's actually been very helpful. I am filming it a bit, and I'm gonna have to share another unhaul because as I'm going through, I'm realizing, oh, I don't really want to read this book, and if I unhaul it, then I don't have to scan it. So there's gonna be another unhaul coming fairly soon. If you're part of my Patreon, I did share a calendar at the beginning of February sharing the videos I plan to do this month. I did that in January as well, but I don't always follow the plan. Sometimes I just want to do something different. But that's like my plan at the beginning of the month, and then you can watch how far off I get. Yeah, so I wanted to mention that in case you follow me on Goodreads and you're getting annoyed. Hopefully by the end of February, I want to say this out loud, hopefully by the end of February, I'll have all my books scanned in. Maybe these ones and my upstairs ones, and then we won't count my kids' ones or something. We'll figure that out yet. That was enough random bookish talk. Let's get into the books. Now, I didn't really think this through because I just barely posted my January wrap-up, and January just finished. So I haven't read a ton of books since that video. So this is mostly, here's a bunch of books that I'm currently reading and one book that I finished. But then from after this one, there should be some like more books finished than just one measly little graphic novel. So the book that I did finish is George Orwell's Animal Farm. This is the graphic novel. I saw somebody on BookTube reading it. I don't remember who, months ago. And I thought my daughter would be interested, and so I got her to read it, and now she's actually reading the actual Animal Farm and enjoying it way more than I did in high school. She inherited her brains from her father. She's smarter than I am. But I actually really enjoyed the graphic novel. The illustration style is very different. I kind of like it in this situation. I wouldn't like it for the average graphic novel, but I think it really works for this. So I wish that this would have been available when I had to do Animal Farm in high school, because I feel like I would have understood more of what was all going on in the story. I'm glad that I got her to read this before reading Animal Farm, because I think she read this and then Jared told her all the meanings of all the things, because it's just a bunch of nerdy people in my house. And then now she's reading the actual Animal Farm. So I think I give this 4 stars on Goodreads. I'm still never going to love Animal Farm, but this does a better job than the actual book in my opinion. But this is definitely one we're going to keep, because I feel like it's a really good resource for homeschool, and this is just more my level for this book. Okay, and then the rest here are just current reads. So I started Holy Hygge, creating a place for people to gather and the gospel to grow. This is a nonfiction book all about, it appeals to our desire for slow living and shared moments. It embraces beauty and contentment. It's warm and inviting. Hygge is the opposite of hustle. It embraces simplicity. Hygge is a way of making home. And I'm reading this over on my homeschool, almost dropped a book, homeschool membership for the month of February. We're reading it, discussing it, and I've only read the introduction as of filming this. We're doing about 2 chapters a week, and it's really good. I think it's going to be a really, really good book. Jared asked what I was reading when I was reading this, and when I said the title, he's like, holy who what? Apparently men have not had the word hygge in their vocabulary over the last like 5 years like women have. I find it funny, because I'm sure I've read other books with the word in there, and I feel like, you know, you read blog posts and Instagram posts and stuff, it's just a normal word already, but apparently it isn't for him/men. So I'm gonna be reading this all month long, and hopefully it continues to be as good as it is. I'll just share about it again when I actually finish it. This one I've been reading for quite some time. Oh, interesting. It's A Time to Die by Nadine Brandes. I started this on audio, I think in November, and it is a library book that I just got out, which I said I wasn't going to do, but I think it was back when I was listening to the audiobook, I requested that my library buy it, and it just came in, so I was like, well, now I have to read it. I was maybe about 70 pages in from the audio when I got this from the library, and so now I'm on page 110. I'm not super into the story, and I'm not sure how much of that is the audio. The audio wasn't bad. I'm in a season of life where I want audio to be podcasts and not audiobooks. So I just need to get back into it. So it's gonna be kind of like on the back burner all month, I think. But I see that the sticker says Saskatchewan Provincial Library, not my like local library. And that's very interesting to me. I don't even know, not that it matters to you because you're probably not from Saskatchewan, but I don't even know if there really is a Saskatchewan Provincial Library. Very strange. So this is about, it's a dystopian book based in a world where everyone gets a clock when they're conceived, I think, and it's the amount of time left in your life. And our main character, her family had, I think everyone gets 2 clocks or something, but they were actually triplets, her, and then she had 2 brothers. One died at birth. It's been a while since I read the beginning. I think he died at birth, so the one clock went to 0 right away. And then her and her surviving brother have shared a clock secretly for the last 17 years or so, and their clock now has 1 year to live, but they don't know whose clock it is. And there is a wall. If you don't have a clock, but you say you did, you're banished outside the wall. And so our main character, her name is Marvin, which is probably another reason I didn't really like the audiobook. Like it makes me think of Marvin all the time. And I'm sorry, I mean no offense if your name is Marvin, but like it's not a really nice name. And the name Marvin is just kind of grating on me. So when I'm reading it physically, I can skim over that and I don't have to think about Marvin all the time, except the more I talk about it, the more I'm going to. Yeah, so hopefully I'll finish this by the end of the month, but it's not a super high priority for me right now. Then I've also been reading Wildflower Pages. This is a poetry collection that I shared in, I think, my official January book haul. I had a few book hauls in January. Yeah, and I'm quite enjoying it. There's quite a few that I have been liking. You can see there. Got some really good ones. And I did think about trying to finish it before this video, but I had too many left and I don't want to just try to read them quickly. So I'm sure I'll be done this for next week and then I'll talk about it a little bit more. And then the official fiction book that I've started that is off of my TBR is The Forgetting. So this is also a dystopian book. Maybe I shouldn't have two dystopian going at the same time. This is in a world where, how often is it? Every few years, every 12 years, everybody forgets everything. But then there are books, and I don't know who has access to these books yet because I'm not very far. There are books where some people have written their stories and so they can be reminded of what happened. And I've heard good things. I'm not far enough to say much else. So hopefully next week I'll be able to tell you some actual thoughts on some books, but there's a little bit of what I have been reading. I would love to hear what are some of your first books that you're diving into this month. That is kind of a bit of my problem, is when I have a monthly TBR, I want to wait until February to start, but like if I finish a book a few days before the end of January, I should just start my February TBR then. But the mind does weird things sometimes and doesn't want you to do things that you can totally do. So there we go. That's my wrap up. Tell me what you're reading. I'd love to hear about it. Thanks for being here, guys.